Crazy drunk drivers. Oh, there we go. So much better. That's where you can't get good help these days. Just can't get good help. Y'all bear with me just a second. We're trying to switch some things around here. We got the old laptop set up over to the side. Come on. Crystal, I was hoping you'd make it. I was hoping. Tennessee, Ghost. So y'all forgive me when I divert eyes that way so I can actually see the comments. Although, I could move that a little bit right there. Maybe? Don't. Here we go. Now we can see it. All right. It's only about half full, okay? Because I drank half of it a little while ago recording a video. So I don't know how long we're going to go on this one, but we'll go until the coffee runs out. Yes, Crystal, Command Center is all set up. And, oh, wait a minute. I can't. I have no idea what that is. It's not the droid you're looking for. I'm going to have to put something over that, aren't I? Hang on. Oh, don't bump the camera. Good Lord of mercy. There. Now, I was about to get yelled at by YouTube. Dang communist. All right. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. That's right. Derek, why was your message retracted? What did you say? Oh my. Because I don't have... Your previous message was retracted, dude, and I don't know why. I don't have anything blocked or set up. That's weird. Craig, what's going on? So, for a good week now, in fact, a full week now, my wife has been very, very sick. A couple of trips to the doctor, sinus infection, turned into full-blown bronchitis, etc., etc. That stuff ain't supposed to be necessarily contagious, but all day today, I've been feeling like I'm coming down with the same thing. The sinuses have been acting up more than just the usual allergies. The throat, the meh feeling. She better not have given me this. I'm just saying. I like that, Crystal. Empathy flu. That sounds about right. Yeah, she's been down hard with this crap. I mean, straight up down hard. So I'm hoping that I don't get any of it because I can't afford to be sick. I got too much going on. So y'all forgive the more so than usual sinus aggravations. So in case y'all haven't seen it, on my video, the very first one that I did for my 14.5-inch AR build, and I'm trying to pull it up because 14.7, excuse me. Normally, I pay this kind of stuff zero attention, but this guy, he made a couple of comments that I got notifications that he had commented, but it didn't show up in the actual comments. I don't know if he deleted them or what, but this guy makes my head spin. And Crystal, by the way, I liked your response. The first thing he posts, and he posted the same thing twice, 2 different times, 2 different posts twice. Weird. Like no punctuation, no proper capitalization. It's like one continuous run-on sentence. Blind leading the blind, low IQ with low IQ, and you can't handle the truth. Facts don't care about feelings, but you already made up your mind, so I won't confuse you with the facts. Holy run-on sentence, Batman. I got no idea what the guy's talking about. And I'm like, was there important information here I need to be knowing or what? I mean, communication, how does it work? This may be harmful to a weak-minded individuals like you with an insecure, inferior complex. Why has my complex got to be inferior? But I hope you enjoy your blindfolded, medicated euphoria. I feel like I'm missing out on something important here, because if there's some kind of medicated euphoria going on, why do I get left out of it? I don't know. So anyway, yes, Crystal, you girls do have the cooties. We learned that as young boys, and we still didn't learn our lesson and went after y'all. I don't know why we're hard-headed that way. Bug, if you keep flying around, you better get away from my coffee. I will Hulk smash you in a heartbeat. Boy, I was treading on thin ice flying around my coffee cup. Yeah, the grammar was all kind of crazy. That was weird. Atom shift. That's a good one. Hey, Simon, what's going on, buddy? Glad you're watching. I'm not like your pirate buddy, but I got a cool pirate flag back here. Hope you like it. George, to answer your question real quick, I do not know. I know they've got the, let's see, I know they got FGX, AUX, IX, and I think Ghost. I think they've got the LEX too. The only one they don't have is the ATX, which is the snow Arctic one. I don't know if they're planning on bringing anything out in that or not. I know that's been kind of hard to get stuff in. Part of it's just material availability, so I don't know. Craig, why do you hate your father like that? I mean, seriously, we should be doing things to help our dads and enrich them and make their lives better, not subjecting them to sadomasochistic torture. Ah, Dave, yes. Matt and I actually got together a couple of weeks ago and spent a couple of nights in the woods hanging out and doing a few things with some other folks. Unfortunately, we didn't have time for any video, so sorry about that. Poncho, those Ruger rifles are supposed to be really good, dude. The other bolt gun that I would recommend would be the Mossberg MVP, but I don't think they've got that in 7.62x39. So, dude, heck yeah. As far as keeping all your ammo the same, if you're already running AKs, grab one of those Rugers and rock it out. No problem not to. Excuse me. I did not mean to do that. Angel, what's going on? Fort Lauderdale. Been there a couple of times. don't really want to go back. Not because of you, just it's south of the demarcation line for me, and I try not to go south of it. So, Crystal, make sure Simon sees my pirate flag back here. Okay? We have a mutual friend in the other pirate guy, but unfortunately, I'm not as cool as him. So, RWP, what's going on? You got a new video out that I got to get caught up on, and I have just not had a chance. All right, Poncho, take care. Have a good one. We will see you later. Yes, Gary is your pirate friend. He's short and stout. He's more like a pirate gnome, I think. Or at least for me, it'd be more like a pirate gnome. I hate taking pictures next to people like him because it always makes me feel like the Jolly Green Giant. Yeah, I know, Crystal, and I've talked about dragging him down here for a class. It's just a matter of timing and scheduling and work and everything else. Um, it's a list of 5,000 other things I want to get done and just don't have the time to do. I mean, heck, I got my own private range down here. I'm trying to get instructors brought down to do classes so we can, do the kind of stuff we want to do and not have to worry about being public with it. But just getting everybody's schedules lined up where people can attend and, enough people that it makes instructors' time worth it to come, and it's a pain in the rear. And of course, that has to kick on right now. Yes, radio free readout. Very good. Look into it. Recommend it. Yeah, RWP, I was just telling everybody before you got here that my wife started out a week ago with a bad sinus infection, and it turned straight into full-blown bronchitis, and she's been down hard all week long. Had to take her to the doctor a couple of times, and I'm starting to feel like I'm catching it. A couple of days, last part of the week here, it was windy and chilly and rainy and nasty, and same thing yesterday. And then yesterday, or actually today, it finally cleared out and it's been real sunny and breezy and cool. So today was a great day. I just couldn't get out and enjoy it because I had too many things to do and starting to feel like I'm catching my wife's cold. So, all right, apologize if I missed any of y'all's comments. They're flying by here. Let me see if I can get caught up. Love the Hornady Frontier ammo. Works great. I've been shooting a lot of Fiocchi as well. It works great. For practice ammo, I got 500 rounds of, believe it or not, the Red Army Standard 223. Haven't had a single issue with that. Every gun we've shot it through loves it, and it shoots great. So no problems there. Excuse me. Oh, the PSA daggers. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have one. Don't you worry about that. Absolutely, for sure. And I'm glad you're feeling better, RWP. I can empathize. I've watched her. She's been freaking down hard with that crap. It's a nasty set that's going around, I think. I'm trying not to, brother, but all day today, I've been feeling like I'm getting it in my sinuses in the throat. I already took a bunch of medicine. I'm trying to ward it off and have a little afternoon coffee because coffee makes everything better. Well, George, I'm actually part of American Partisan. Pretty much all the guys behind it I know in person and are friends of mine. Mr. Collins, who's in the comments section right here, he contributes occasionally to American Partisan and is one of my best friends. And we all just kind of had a little get together not all that long ago. Yeah, I don't think it's coronavirus yet. I'd be kind of surprised because I work from home, RWP, so I'm not really around too many people. That's the problem with the world. There's too many people in it. That didn't sound right. But anyway, you get the drift. Let's see. So, speaking of that coronavirus, I don't know if any of y'all caught the other video I did on this, but seriously, like, pay attention. People get wrapped around the axle on this. The actual virus is not what you need to be worried about. What you need to be worried about is the reaction to the virus, okay? What do people do? What does the government do? Et cetera, et cetera. It basically gives you the equivalent of a bad case of pneumonia, but unlike bacterial pneumonia, it can't be treated with antibiotics. Being viral, they just have to basically treat your symptoms, keep you alive long enough for your body to fight it off. Depending on your immune system, depending on your body, what kind of shape you're in, depending on how bad you got it, is to what levels they have to go to try to keep you alive. It might just be mild treatment, or it could be all the way up to and including having to be on a respirator. But think about your average city. If you got 500, 600, 1,000 people at a time come down sick with it, and they overwhelm the local hospital systems where the hospitals couldn't treat them, didn't have enough equipment, enough medicine, enough staff, enough rooms. Think if they had to have people on gurneys in the hallways. Then think about the public reaction to that. That's the kind of thing that causes lesser informed and lesser minded people to start freaking out and panicking. It can cause all kinds of things to happen. It could trigger economic issues. It's already possibly going to trigger economic issues in China right now because so much of their production area is in the areas that are quarantined and shut down. There's a lot of things to worry about here other than the actual virus itself. So I'm just saying, stay on top of that stuff. Do not dismiss it just because, oh, it's just another little virus. Oh, it's, not like the Black Plague or something. You're making a mistake if you dismiss it. You just got to be careful what you focus on and focus on the right aspect. But that's just me. Donald, greetings. How you doing? All right, Black Sheep, have a good one. Let's see. Crystal, exactly. People buying up medical supplies that they don't necessarily need, and then all of a sudden something happens and the people that need them can't get them. Be ready to stay at home for a couple of weeks. I mean, you should already have enough food and water and medicine and such to be able to do that already. And if you do, and it gets that bad, you just shut your door and stay home and you're fine. That's how you avoid the virus. It's that simple. Yes, read what Derek just said in the comments. Well, of course you do, RWP. I wouldn't expect anything less. So anyway, that's all on the coronavirus. Just pay attention to it. Yeah, John, that's sadly one of the downsides to this is most of you folks that are watching already know what to do, and I'm preaching to the choir. So yes, Crystal. Bing, 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 bing. Crystal gets a gold star for the day. I'd send you an extra cup of coffee, but I'm drinking it all. No, but in all seriousness, Crystal's absolutely right. A couple of weeks worth of food, water, medicine, things like toilet paper. Do you have enough TP in your house to go 2 weeks without going to the store and getting any for however many people you have in your house? Think about that. Something as simple as that. So, what else? I got stuff sitting next to me here, but I can't show it to any of y'all because then I would get the bad boy from YouTube. So can't do that. George, good deal, good deal. Glad to hear that. Das Sheep, man. I'll be honest, and this is going to sound like a completely canned answer, and I swear to you it's not. The two companies that I'm looking forward to this year are Palmetto State Armory and Century Arms. That's that's the two that, from what I've seen at SHOT Show and folks that I know and have talked to that were at SHOT, that's the two companies I'm looking forward to this year is PSA and Century. Excuse me. Ghost. That's funny you mentioned that. I've actually thought about getting a bidet attachment to try out just for that reason. Oh yes, we've got upcoming projects. So that 5.56 AK from Palmetto State, I've been quietly talking with them for a couple of years now about that gun. Not that I've got any influence on it. I've just been quietly talking with them behind the scenes about it. The I know everybody's wound up about that NP5, and I know I know one of my best friends wants one just because, and that's a fine reason. I fully support that. I'm just not excited about it. I'll tell you what I'm more excited about is the ARV. ARV I'm very excited about. I can't take credit for it because I don't know that somebody didn't already plug the idea before me. But the day PSA come out with the AKV, and I got one of the mags from them to be able to do rigs with, I told them right there, you need to make this an AR compatible platform to take these mags. And thank the good Lord they did. Again, don't know that they listened to me on it, but I'm excited about that. Oh yeah, they've got the 5.45 stuff they've had in the works for a long time. And I mean, seriously, if you guys had gotten to go up for the media event that I did back in September and take the behind the scenes tour and see all the stuff that I did, the manufacturing side of it, etc., it would give you a lot better understanding of why it's taken a while for some of this stuff to get out, why it takes so long to get it all done, et cetera, et cetera. So, crap, it looks like I lost y'all. We're going to keep recording just in case. I don't know if y'all can still hear me, but it shows that chat was disconnected. Okay, you can still hear me. Well, I can see stuff up there. All right, John, I appreciate it. Let me see if I can reconnect this. Ah, yes. My lovely internet and router decided to kick my laptop off like it does all the time. Stand by to stand by. Bet y'all have never heard that one before. Well, I know some of you have. All right, reconnecting. For whatever reason, my router loves to just randomly disconnect devices from it. So it'll just disconnect the laptop for no apparent reason whatsoever. And I cannot figure out why, and it drives me absolutely batty because I went into the router and I can't even find any settings in the router to change to make it so it doesn't do that. And now my laptop's froze up. This is magical. Okay. Refunds are handed out at the door. You'll just need your sales receipt, and it still needs to be in the original packaging. And if you wanted a professional, you're in the wrong place, brother. All right, we're back in action here. Let's see. All right, backing up in comments a little bit. Let me get caught up. Yeah, Mr. Collins is the one that wants the MP5. Die Sheep, yeah. I'll admit there's a part of me that my inner teenager wants to have an MP5. You know, I've shot a lot of them in the past, and go running into the living room in my boxers and yell yippee ki yay just to see what my wife throws at me. I mean, that would be cool. I got cookies in the kitchen, but I don't know that I've got a way to get one of those to you. Let's see. RWP, yes, very familiar with the AK-12. I mean, I hadn't shot one or anything, but I've read a lot, about it and seen it and everything. Come on, catch up. Come on, comments. How in the world did we get on oral and rectal thermometers? Alrighty then. That one took a detour. So, man, there's stuff I want to show you guys and I can't. God dang you, YouTube. All right, I'll show you this. Maybe I won't get kicked off YouTube for this. So, if you guys can see that. Will that show up on there? I got sent this by none other than Johnny Strong himself. Very cool dude. Have always loved him as an actor, and he became or says that he likes my gear. He's gotten a little bit of it, and we exchanged a few things, and sent me this as a present. And this is a freaking wicked cool knife. He designs these knives himself. He's a bit of a knife maker. This is a cool knife. It's the Reciprocity. He's actually got them for sale on his website. So if you want a cool knife, go check him out. I am tickle pink to have this one. Negative, I have not checked out any Lehigh ammo. Heard about it, but I hadn't ever checked it out yet. I just don't have the money to check out all the different ammo that I'd like. And unlike all the cool channels, I don't have people dumping ammo in my lap. Hence why you guys hear me say all the time when I'm shooting and doing videos, I actually have to make my shots count. So I'm doing a video, but even though I'm shooting rounds for whatever I'm talking about in the video, I still got to make those rounds count for something. Accuracy, trigger manipulation, there's something got to be done with that round because I don't have the money to just stand there and blast away, 500 rounds in front of the camera for no apparent reason other than just blast them away. So what else is in the news to pay attention to? I got something really cool sitting over there on the table, but I can't show it to you yet. I've been sworn to secrecy. Ben, what's going on? Nothing particular. My nose won't stop itching. All right, sorry. There's that unprofessional thing again. Refunds are at the door. I can't show you that because I've been told we can't publicly share that yet. Gotta wait. Government buying up food buckets. I have not heard that rumor. Mr. Collins is correct. He gets a gold star for the day. Absolutely correct. Seriously, we'll do a primary arms plug real quick. So when you guys start getting up in age, like Derek and I are, there will become a point that your eyesight will suddenly and dramatically change, right? And it's going to be somewhere in your mid 40s, okay? All right, RWP, catch you later. Shoot me a text message. Stay in touch. Your eyesight's going to change, right? So when when Derek and I were in boot camp and basic training, respectively, both of us eyesight like all get out, and over the years stayed the same. Somewhere in your mid 40s, if you're not already there, you're going to get there. You're going to start noticing a change, and it might be a very sudden change. It might be like 1 month everything's fine, and all of a sudden the next month, holy crap, why is things blurry? It happens to 90% of us. Primary arms, I'm telling you, that's what keeps us middle-aged folks able to still stay in the fight. When you throw something like as simple as like the 2.5x fixed sight from Primary Arms, all the way up to one of the 1-8s, 1-6s, something like that, that will dramatically change your life, because all of a sudden you can adjust that diopter on them. You can see the reticle clearly. You get that little bit of magnification, and it's, oh my gosh, there's the target again. Ping! And you will see groups go from this back down to this, right? Because I was shooting red dots for many, many, many years. And I just suddenly, like, I was shooting 4-inch groups at 50 yards when used to I could stack them in one hole. And it was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I can't shoot anymore. What am I doing wrong? Got my very first Primary Arms optic, threw it on the gun, and was like, oh my gosh, I can still shoot. It's not me, it's just me being the eyes. So instead of a red dot now, like for all my 1X stuff, running the Primary Arm Cyclops, I can adjust that diopter so I've got a nice crisp reticle instead of a fuzzy multi-shaped weird dot, trying to figure out which one of the shapes is actually the real dot. I got an actual nice crisp reticle. I'm suddenly back shooting small groups again. You've seen it on some of the videos. Primary Arms keeps us in the fight because it's good stuff. It's affordable. It works. I mean, what else can you say? So there's the unpaid advertisement plug for them. Yeah, Bushnell's pretty good too. I know a couple of friends that have got some Bushnell stuff. I'm just a big fan of primary arms personally, but heck, guys that have got Bushnell stuff, if it works for you, rock it out. Get people to get too overly wound up about that. Kind of like guys trying to decide which is better, an AR or an AK. Somebody should do a video about that. Maybe somebody already has. Time travel. What else? Should we talk about the impeachment? Wait, I'm gonna violate YouTube's rules. Got a gun. Pew 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 pew. Got a gun. Oh my gosh. What else? Not much to talk about with impeachment. It's a farce. We know it's a farce. It's a stupid waste of time and taxpayers' money. And like him or love him, probably just guaranteed a Trump re-election. Trying to get caught up on comments, but I'm not seeing any new ones. So somebody make a comment if you can still see. Ah, yes, State of the Union address coming up. That'll be interesting to see what he does there. I'm about done with that. Yeah, State of the Union will be interesting to see. It would break decorum, but part of me wishes he would get up there and go on an absolute rant and call out the SOCOMs and the media for everything he's worth and go off on how they have completely wasted taxpayers' time and money with this farce of an impeachment, and it has taken him away from being able to actually do what he's supposed to do as a president and do things for the country and yada, yada, yada. I really wish he would go off on that, but it would be a stark breach of decorum and point of the State of the Union. So yeah, he'll probably focus on the economy, which in an election year, that's probably a good thing. But the media industrial complex, that I can actually buy. Derek, you still on, or are you fixing to head out the door? Boy, the video's lagging way behind on that screen versus that screen. Yeesh. I'm trying to figure out what else there is to talk about because everything, okay, you're still there. Because everything I want to talk about involves things that I can't show you on a live stream. That's what's so freaking frustrating. YouTube killing the whole GUN thing on live stuff really screws up things for me that I need to do or want to do rather. Oh well. What else? Got some more videos coming up. I've got surplus Flectarn. I have no idea. It used to be everywhere because I had some of it, and like a fool, I sold what I had. Decided I wanted to get more, and then when I went to get more, couldn't find it. Transition, yeah. I've thought about that, but I really don't want to push the limits. No, I want to push the limits, but I'm not going to just for the sake of risking getting the stream cut just to make a point. Not a hill to die on yet. Anyway, got more videos coming on some stuff I want to get back to the range. So obviously I want to get rounds through both the AKs. I'm making a few additions slash upgrades to the AKs. So I want to get them back out to the range so as to show off the new additions and upgrades, but then also get some more rounds through them to continue giving you guys my evaluatory thoughts. Is that even a word, evaluatory? If not, I just made it up. It is now a word. I have spoken. On the AKs that I've got some more stuff that I'm working on getting in the coming months that I think could be valuable tools for folks to have. I want to do a video on my youngest son's PDW, for lack of a better term, but I'm still trying to get some stuff sorted on it. I've had some issues, and I think that I've got the issues sorted. I got to get another range trip and find out. Once I do, I'll get a video on that, and I'll go over the things that I'm having to get sorted out in the process too. West Wind, what's going on? Oh, the PSAK versus the KS-47. Absolutely. Here's the problem though. I've got a KS-47 pistol and I've got AK carbines. So to do a fair comparison, I either need to get a KS-47 carbine or an AK pistol. Gotta figure that one out. Let's see. Excessive advertising that Olight does whenever they come out with a new light. Yeah, seems like everybody and their brother that's affiliated with Olight, man, they just flood them with stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those folks. Again, I'm not in the cool kid club yet. I think a lot of companies don't approach me because of what we talk about here, and I'm not afraid to talk about it, not ashamed to talk about it. When you start getting into all the preparedness and survival stuff and all that, some of them tend to shy away from it. Image and all that, which is why the companies that do have things to do with me, such as Palmetto Estate, Primary Arms, a couple of others, it's why I talk about them like I do, because I support the folks who support me, because by supporting me, they're supporting you. Simple as that. Let's see. It is a good problem to have indeed, and I will probably need your help with some of it very soon. We need to talk because I need to catch you up on some things. So let me know when you have free time. Free time is not something I'm overly familiar with, and I know you're not either. So as soon as we can figure out what that is that people have and how they're getting it, then we can make it happen. Let's see, Westwind, just working on a grab and go. My new bang stick. All right, Westwind, what kind of new bang stick do you got? And have you already got a video up on your new grab and go kit? I'm sure we'd all like to see it. All right, I'll call you. Let's see. Funny story about mag lights. So So I used to be issued a M16A2 with a M203 grenade launcher on it. That probably dates me a little bit. And a certain event was going on that I was at, and I didn't get my 203 barrel issued. But the way the upper half of the 203 mounts on the M16, you've got the trigger mechanism and everything there. They would have to check us out the barrel out of the armory. Anyway, I found out that, again, this is before we had Surefires and cool guy lights and all that, that a 3D cell, was it either 3 or 4D cell mag light, was almost a perfect fit where my 203 barrel went. And with copious amounts of 550 cord, you can mount it and have a weapon mounted light. Back in the olden days. Ruger NPR, very cool. You will have to get a video up on that. Yeah, 20 inchers have their place. I'll be honest, I got tired of toting the darn thing around. For what it does, for me, a 20 inch doesn't really do anything that a 16 inch doesn't do. Just as good, but a little less weight and a little handier. But that's just me. And I ain't the one that got to tote it. So if a 20 inch is what floats your boat, rock on with it and stack rounds. I am all about that. Grail water filters. No, I have not heard of those. I will have to look into that. So I'll tell you all this too while I'm thinking about it. I've got a couple of companies that have approached me about looking at some of their stuff and doing some videos. So there's a couple of there's a couple of companies that have approached me about doing things, and it's some things that I'm interested in. A couple of other companies have approached me, but some of them are things that I'm not interested in, and they wanted me to buy the item from them and then do a video on it. And I'm like, that's not how this really works. If you're asking me to show off your stuff, especially if it's not something that I'm personally overly interested in, I'm not going to buy it out of my own pocket. Got a couple other places that have straight up emailed me and said, hey, we like your channel. Would you be interested in looking at some of our stuff? And I, because of what they offer, I straight up said, absolutely I would. And I've had to tell them the same thing that I told y'all, though. Keep in mind, I don't do this for a living. I'm not a review channel. I'm a whatever I want to do channel. So you're going to get my thoughts and evaluation on it and not necessarily a review. So just keep that in mind. And a couple of them were like, no, cool, that's why we want you to check it out. And I was like, all right then, as long as you're cool with it. So can't give anything away yet because I don't know if we're going to get anything from them or not to look at. But George Westwind, holy cow. This 14.7 PSA upper that I just did. This thing is legit. Okay. I mean, watch the video on it. I was using plain old Fiocchi 223 out of it. And with this primary arm scope, it was stacking rounds for me. I ran some of the Red Army Standard 55 grain stuff through it. Same thing. Not quite as tight, but I'll attribute that to the ammo. I mean, it's budget steel cased ammo, but it went bang every time and it's hitting the target good. That 14.7 is a really nice compromise as far as overall size and capability. I love my 16s, but as far as out in the woods and the terrain that I have to work in, which I'll see, around my range, that 14.7 is really hard to beat in moving around in that terrain. It gives me 16-inch type performance, but in a package more like my 11.5-inch pistol. So, and it's weird because the 14.7 with the pinned A2 on it, you still meet your 16-inch overall length. Whereas with a regular 16-inch barrel, you've got the 16-inch barrel, and it's more like a little over 17 inches by the time you put flash presser on there. 1 inch doesn't sound like much, but in the balance and handling department and just the portability department, for some reason, it just makes a huge difference on the way the gun feels, how portable it is, the way it handles, whole 9 yards. It's it's really, really impressive. And George, M193 is my standard go-to social round for my ARs. Now, when it comes to practicing, it's whatever I can get my hands on at whatever price. Hornady, Fiocchi, whatever. Like I said, I've been shooting a bunch of the Red Army Standard steel case stuff just to see how it runs to practice with, and runs like a champ. Don't have any issues with it, and it's great practice ammo. So no complaints there. What else? What else? What else? Wolf Gold's good stuff. I've shot a fair amount of Wolf Gold. Um, that's interesting. Pardon me one moment. I know this is rude, but like I said, you get what you pay for. Sorry, that was an important message I had to answer. Had to do with someone who is right in the middle of some actual current events that have been in the news. Let's see. And don't let anybody tell you that M193 won't do the job. I'll tell you a little secret. You know where a lot of 5.56 ammo got a bad rap from? Part of it was in Mogadishu in Somalia, because the Delta guys were using their little short carbines, and some of the Rangers had M4s, and there were some 20-inch still in use as well. And they were all shooting the M855, which was not new, it was fairly new. But the problem was 855 was developed and designed to be used in 20-inch rifles. It greatly depended on the velocity to perform correctly, And when you dropped it down into an M4 length barrel, that little bit of velocity lost, being a tungsten penetrator core round, caused the bullet to zip right through without yawing the skinny Somalis, without a lot of body mass to them. So it wasn't really a fair comparison to say that 5.56 was no good, because they were using a round in a gun that it wasn't designed to be used around, and then that just carried over to everything else. I guarantee you, if they'd have been using M193, it would have been a totally different story on those Somalis. Sorry, I digress. Little step there. Oh yeah, if it gets here, like we said earlier in the stream, close the front door, lock it, prop your feet up on your couch, brew some coffee, and watch the world disintegrate. Now the catch to that is, if it actually does start disintegrating and getting stupid, like hypothetically, people that aren't prepared start suddenly flooding stores, snatching up all the food, supplies, fighting with each other, then freaking out and panicking when it's all gone because all the stores run a just-in-time stocking system, and start getting stupid, then that could potentially take things to another level, in which case you might have to activate other plans besides just staying in place. It might be time to go to the bug out location if you have to. Quasar, good evening. Yeah, Westwind, I was actually in basic training with some guys that were in Mogadishu. So, if that tells you anything, because I went through basic a few years before that happened. So did my buddy Derek. Although he went to boot camp, not basic. So you got to be careful, because jarheads get picky about that. They go to boot camp, not basic. I need to find out something here. Hang on a second. We're going to see if we can do something to somebody while we're live on here. I just sent someone a message. Brother Matt, what's going on? All right, everybody, Matt Bracken's in the house in the comments. Please do not flood him with questions. And yes, we're going to get Matt back on for a video, okay? He's coming back. We've talked about it. We just got to get it worked out. He's a busy man. I'm a busy man. Getting schedules to link up where we can actually get a video done, it's not as easy as you would think. So it's not for lack of want or trying. We talked about it when we were together a couple of weeks ago. So, where were we? Yeah, Matt's right. Skype is easy. The problem is finding time when I can actually sit in and devote to Skype, because all these people are wanting their gear that they've ordered from me, and they get picky about it for some reason, paying money and expecting gear back real quick and all that. It's crazy when they do those kind of things. Y'all be quiet, because the boss just walked in the door. And she's giving me a dirty look because she's still sick and doesn't feel good. See there? She's throwing her 2 cents worth in. I just got verbally smacked. So, Matt, since you're just joining in, we were talking about various events a while ago and things in the news. Yeah. I'll come proofread just a little bit. Just leave it on the computer.
It's technically not due till Tuesday, but I went ahead and went it.
That's fine. We'll get it done. Sorry, son's needing help with some of his college work. Oh, y'all go make sure you go to theleagueofpirates.com and get you a cool shirt. You won't regret it. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. George, I do not know. Pretend to work. I wish I could pretend to work. Yeah, Charlie, it goes both ways. Sometimes I need him to look at my stuff. I need those young eyes, and then other times he needs me to proofread his. Yeah, Matt. See, you're expecting me to be all fancy and technical like Alex is, and I ain't got all that kind of setup equipment just yet. I wish I did, but I don't. Just email me, Quasar. Email me sales at uwgearinc.com. We can work out what you want, and then I'll send you an invoice and get you in line. It's a dumb question. Orange chicken, shrimp fried rice.
I'm gonna need like $10 then.
What?
I'm gonna need like $10 then, 10 extra.
Wait, why am I having to pay you for food? Isn't that supposed to go the other way?
No, no, I'm getting me stuff, but I don't have enough money to get everyone stuff.
I've been feeding you for years. It's time for you to feed me. Get it from Mama. She'll pay you. Sorry, guys, I'm getting dinner. And anyway, y'all wanted professional here. You ain't got it. Let's see. Well, if you want to chat, Matt, give me a call. I can put you up on the phone for sure. I'll put you on speakerphone. Quasar, yeah, that's kind of my go-to from the Chinese takeout hot walk place. Little small mom and pop owned shop up the road. Good stuff. Let's see. Matt, you got the cell number. Give me a call. Dun, 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 dun. Ah, it's a gun. YouTube might shut us down for that. I'm holding a gun. Let's see, where were we? Frank, you finally made it. Yeah, we've only been going at it for, an hour now. Glad you could join us. Were there crayons that needed sorting? Ooh, I went there. Oops. That's okay, guys. Frank was a Marine. It's all right. Alien pistol? You'll have to refresh my memory. I'm drawing a blank on that one. George, I know a place because, geez, about, let's see, about 8 years ago, I had to send my 14 in to get it nitrogen purged, and I forget the name of the place that I sent it to. if I can find it, I'll do a video or something and put it up. But I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. Frank, why'd you let a Marine paint your basement ceiling? I'm not on any cold meds yet, and I don't want to be if I can help it. Lago Arms Alien Pistol. I am not familiar with that. I will have to look that up. I don't get in on all the cool kid stuff, so sometimes I'm behind the curve. Sometimes not. All right, so we're waiting on Matt to call. He's tied up. Frank's got monkeys painting the ceiling. Oh, if you want to start comparing that stuff, Frank, come on down to this house that we moved into a couple years ago. There's stuff in here that looks like a 4-year-old put it together. And Quasar, they want a lot of money for it, and it's probably not practical. And that's kind of what I'm into, is practical. So, just saying. Let me ask you guys this question. So, I've had this thought running through my head. I'm still a big fan of an RPK, right? It's why I did the video on the 20-inch AR that I built to set up kind of as a poor man's RPK, only an AR version, right? And I put the Magpul drum in it. So, since I've had such great performance out of my PSA KS47 pistol, I'm pondering, now that I've got some AKs back again, I'm pondering getting a 16-inch KS47 and setting it up just like I did the 20-inch AR with a bipod and some 75-round AK drum mags as another poor man's RPK, but again in an AR platform, but actually shooting 7.62 by 3.9 and using AK mags.
Fried rice or lo mein? Yeah, sorry to bother you again. Fried rice or lo mein?
Shrimp fried rice.
Fried rice, okay.
And here's the other cool thing about that particular setup, right? Think about this. A 16-incher, a 16-inch KS47 that would take 30 round, 40 round, and 75 round AK mag, shooting 7.62 by 3.9. If I put a 1:6 primary arm scope on there, you could run it like an RPK, or I think, based on what my pistol does, I think the 16-inch would have enough accuracy that it could honestly double as a 200-yard DMR gun. Because with the 1:6 on there, you can crank it up to 6x. I think at 2x, I think at 6x, I think that 16-incher would have the accuracy to do it, so you could get double duty out of one gun. I'm pondering that idea. Ah, see, Frank, you're tracking with what I'm thinking. You're tracking what I'm thinking. LOP, yes, see, you're tracking as well. I mean, think about that. A 16-inch KS47 that's got easy, good accuracy, but I could throw a 75-round drum in it with the Magpul bipod on it, and poor man's RPK. Chug, 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 chug. Because honestly, 7.62 by 3.9 is going to buck the thick brush a little bit better than 5.56 will. So I'm just saying that might be something I have to talk to Palmetto State Armory about, because I don't think anybody's ever done a video on a gun setup like that with the 16-inch KS-47. That could be very, very cool. Westwind, I think you're absolutely right. SHOT Show has been a dud for a while. And from the folks that I talked to that were there, honestly, other than Palmetto State, Century Arms, and maybe a couple of other places, it was honestly a dud again this year. See, Thor, I've shot actual real H&K 91s, and the CR308s, the PTR 91 clones, all those, they're great guns. The problem is I have to walk a fine line. Like, there's cool things I'd like to show you guys on video that I think are great weapons for the armed prepared citizen. But I got to get stuff that's going to stay in line with what I'm doing in my inner circle of family and friends as well. And you know, the PTRs, the CR308s, the H&K clones, I just have no parts and mag commonality for it at all. So it's really tough for me to, you know, throw that in. Not that there's anything wrong with them, mind you. Again, Cameron, evening, how's it going? Frank, we mentioned the dagger earlier, and both myself and my buddy Derek here in the comments, we're going to have some of them. Rest assured we will have some. Quasar, that's where it's all going to be determined by your area, right? Down here for me, 308, honestly, is a bit of a waste. The terrain is just too thick. You can't see anything far enough to use it effectively. 5.56 and 7.62 by 3.9 absolutely rule in this area. And again, I'm talking about my area. So it's depending on where you're at, right? That's true, Westwind, but you've got companies like, again, Century and Palmetto State that are actually moving forward with getting stuff out to folks and trying to get new things. Oh, Westwind, I just saw your previous comment. So, binary triggers, I've had folks ask me about those. I'll be honest, I got no problem with them. And if people have got them and rock them, that's great. Personally, I think for my use and on those guns, I think they're a waste of ammo because I'm going to be throwing ammo in shots downrange that aren't accomplishing anything better than what I can do on semi-auto. So for me, it's a balance of managing ammo and all that. I just don't get anything over a binary trigger more than what I can do just with a regular finger. I like a slow aimed rate of fire so that every round can be aimed, but fast enough you can keep somebody suppressed. Now, here's where the kicker is. Most people think you got a mag dump to suppress somebody. You don't. One round a second, one round every second and a half will keep somebody pinned very easily, very, very easily. So you don't have to be throwing a lot of lead real fast. It can just be a simple bang, 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 bang. Literally, trigger pull, it fires, sight back on target, trigger reset, pull again. Whatever consistent rate you can get the sights back on target and squeeze off another round, honestly, that's a plenty fast enough rate of fire to keep somebody suppressed per se. Again, nothing against binary triggers. Don't have a problem with it. Just me personally, I think they're kind of a waste of ammo because you'll tend to get a little too happy on the trigger sometimes. Ronald Robertson, absolutely not. Okay, because back during the 94 to 2004 assault weapons ban that some of us had to live through, that's all that was available because you couldn't get collapsing stocks. So the vast majority of your 16-inch carbines that were sold all had fixed stocks on them. So fixed stocks on a fixed A2 stock, A1 stock on a 16-inch mid-length carbine, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Let's see. PSAK 74? Possibly. Back in the day, I had some Arsenal SGL 31s. Those were great guns. I love shooting them. They were stupid smooth and quite accurate. It'll just all depend. Again, 545 isn't a caliber that I'm stocking and that my friends are stocking. So, I don't know, 5.56 and 7.62 by 3.9 are. So anything in those two calibers, I'm more than happy to play with and try out. 5.45 we'll have to see. It would depend on ammo prices. Admittedly, I might not mind having one just to have that I could squirrel away some mags for and maybe 500 rounds just as if I had to grab it all and run the thing I could. We'll see. I wouldn't rule it out. Let's put it that way. Oh, Quasar. I can't show it to you. Right now, sitting in the safe, I have a Ishmash Legion SGL 21, and it's going to be put up for sale very soon. I wish I still had all the other ones I had that I sold years ago, because we've seen those on Gunbroker from anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. And I'll put it like this. Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on. I'm sorry, I was delayed. My wife was on the line with one of my sisters, and she passed the phone off to me, and I had to have a conversation with my sister Terry.
That's all good. It's all good. I got you on speaker, so hopefully everybody can hear you. I'm going to set you next to the mic here, but hold that thought while I finish up what I was telling these guys.
Yeah, roger that.
So
Standing by.
Stand by to stand by. So yeah, Quasar, I will say this: the Century Visca that I got and my Palmetto State Armory AK that I got are both hands down more accurate than all of our arsenals we used to have. And between me, my cousin, and 3 other people, we had over 12 arsenals. Not one of those 12, as great as they were, would shoot as good as the Visca and the PSA AK. So if that tells you anything.
But that's what you would call anecdotal evidence, because you might have gotten a one rifle that shot bullseye when the next 3 customers shot off the paper.
Well,
I mean, there are guns like that.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely, not denying that at all. But I can find a lot of other people with similar results. That's the thing. So if
I'm just I see all the advantages of a 7.62 39, but I'm just sticking with the old 5.56.
Oh no, absolutely. But we were talking about our old Arsenal SGL 21s back in the day that were the cream of the crop Russian Ishmash made guns that are no longer imported. So now those guns are selling for $3,500 on Gunbroker, and the newer budget AKs from Century and Palmetto State are shooting groups half as tight as what the older cream of the crop Arsenals used to shoot. That's what we were comparing. That was the discussion we were having.
For me, what it comes down to is iron sights with the forward rear sight does not work for 62-year-old eyes in my case.
Yeah, that's why you got to throw you a good primary arms optic on there. For us old folks,
But
we talked about that
but
earlier
that's
too.
I know, but that's the dust cover is not as inherently. I mean, you can't argue this. You can say there's this or that aftermarket dust cover that'll bolt down or clamp down or something tight, but there's still no way that you can compare the top of a AR receiver with a Picatinny rail to a dust cover that is movable, you know, and is inherently going to have some slop in it. It has to.
Yeah,
Taking it on, putting it off.
that's why usually with an AK, I've had great luck in the past when all I had was arsenals and using just optics mounts, the mount on the side rail. Now that said, my cousin whom you've met for a long time ran a TWS rail top cover on his AK and hunted with it quite successfully with a 1-6 scope on it. And I currently have that same top cover on one of the AKs that I have. So next time you go to the range with me, you'll get to try it out and see what it does.
All that said, in you know, in the southeast woods, 100 yards might be the longest shot you ever take, because unless you're like firing down a highway.
Oh yeah.
Because you know, you're going to step out of the line of fire back into the bush pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, and other factors become more important than what kind of optic you have on it. But I just don't like giving up that, you know, the ability to go 300-400 yards with a good optic. All that said, I mean, I think the AK is a great platform. I just think that inherently a movable dust cover can't be as steady as a top of an AR receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, you know, a 308 round and a 5.56 weight-wise, right in between is a 7.62 39. So 30 rounds of 5.56 weighs as much as, like, you know, 20 rounds of 7.62 39 or 15 rounds of 308. You can just carry more 5.56.
Oh yeah. Well, it's see you later, Frank. Yeah, I don't know if you can still see the comments, Matt, in the on the video, but like the League of Pirates was just saying, the last few years have seen some dramatic shift in the products that have come to market versus the old first gen stuff of mountain optics on AK. It's nowhere near what it used to be as far as the quality is far superior. But that said, we did have some of the guys we were talking earlier about 308, and I was saying the same thing you just said. For it's very area dependent, because down here where you and I are at, the woods are just too thick for the 308 to really give you any advantage over a 5.56 or 7.62 by 39, especially for the weight difference that 308 carries, because you just can't see far enough to take advantage of it. The distance just isn't there.
Particularly in the southeast. If you're living in, you know, Wyoming, it's a different situation.
Yeah, it's definitely a different story.
But I'm not really trained up on that kind of wide open area operations, because when I was in the military, all of my mentors were like Vietnam era veterans, or
right.
And then we were training in Virginia in the southeast, which was, even though it wasn't tropical, it was close bush.
Yep.
And those guys all hammered into us at, like, they never even had a firefight more than 50 yards ever.
Right.
And most were like 50 feet or closer. You know, you ran into people practically at point blank range.
Oh yeah, well, you've talked to my uncle and heard his stories as well. So same.
The first thing that you saw was, you're looking at his face and he's looking at your face, and it could be a shot AK and M16. Something that I try to instill in people as much as I can. I think that we spend, like, you know, way too much time, like the princess and the pea, you know, counting how many pins you can stack on the head of a needle in what is better, an AR or an AK, or this or that platform, when if it's going to happen at 100 feet or less, that's one of the least important considerations.
Absolutely.
It's who sees who first. It's who has best stalking and ambush skills, patrol trolling, stalking, ambushing is way more important. I would rather have a Ruger 1022 rifle, you know, with a really talented point man,
Right.
than be stumbling around with a bunch of knuckleheads with you know, the
Nope.
finest.
Abs-
Anyway, I mean, you know,
No, absolutely.
we don't spend enough time patrolling and stalking and ambushing compared to, you know, picking out what is 10% better. It's like audiophiles with their stereo equipment.
Yep.
At a certain point, you're doubling your price to get a frequency range that only a dog can hear.
Yep. I agree.
You know,
We've talked
instead
about
of learning
that.
how to play the guitar.
So while I got you, let me see in the comments here. Any of you guys got any questions? Throw them up, and we'll go over them. But like I said, Matt, I don't know if you can still see the comments on the live chat, but
Yeah, hang on. I was just standing up to walk around.
League of Pirates, you were right. The gear is always less of a consideration than the tactics and intelligence. Absolutely, that's why it's. Someone may or may not have done a video that may or may not go live on which is better, the AR or the AK, in the next day or two. I don't know, and touched on some of those very same points. Maybe.
I'd say whatever you got more ammunition of, or if your resupply is going to be the government forces, what are they shooting? If you know, if you've got 1,000 rounds of 7.62 39, and you is going to be using 5.56, what happens when you run out of your 1,000 rounds? You know, you're going to, your resupply is going to be whatever's in the government system.
Right.
You know, so I mean, there's a consideration, but I don't think that I think that we spend like 100 times too much time talking about whether this or that rifle is better. It's like skiers that never actually go down the slope, and they're talking about, I got a $2,000 set of skis compared to your $3,000 set of skis, but neither guy's actually done the downhill race.
Yep.
And you'd be better off with $100 pair of skis actually skiing.
Yeah.
You know, and so actually just getting out and doing team-on-team kind of training, even if it's like red versus green lasers. We have this great advantage because in the last 20, 30 years, lasers have become so cheap that everybody has got red and green lasers. Get out in the woods with red versus green. You know who got who by the light, and that will actually do more training for you than catalog shopping a better optic or a better rifle.
Right.
Because they're all good. Look, at 100 yards, they'll all work. And
Right.
if all the engagements are at 50 yards or less, they're all going to work. The key is who sees who first. You know, who's behind who, who's trailing who, who's ambushing who. That is way more important than the platform.
So
and if you win that firefight, you get to pick up their weapon.
Yep.
You know, you might start out with an inferior weapon and wind up with a superior weapon because you won the firefight.
Yep. So Quasar is asking, any chance that you're going to have your own podcast or radio show at some point?
I don't think so. I wish I would write another novel. I'm just working on my last audio book, and like once a week or so, I get on InfoWars, which they don't give me any editorial guidance or anything. I can say whatever I want on there, and that's enough for me for now. Which on InfoWars is they got their own, like, instead of YouTube, because they're banned on YouTube, so they've got a channel called banned.video. So if you go band.video Bracken, you can, whatever I did in the last week is up on there. But the time of a podcast, I like just calling you, or.
Yeah, that's honestly, guys, we've talked about it before, Matt and I have sent with what he's been able to do with Alex on InfoWars, and then if I can start getting him on more, it's a better use of his time and energy going those routes than what it would take to get set up to do all the other stuff himself.
I like Skype. If we do Skype, we can do like a side-by-side split screen, and it's like we're in the same room.
Yeah, I just got to get set up so that we can actually do that. I'll be getting with you about that a little bit here in the future. I've just had to try
Okay.
to get things tied down, and
Yeah.
recovering from surgery for the past month kind of delayed all that. So
Yeah. Mr. Titanium.
hey, I'm loving my new titanium parts. I just got to get back in shape now a little bit, and all the muscles aren't happy about that.
Yeah. The older you get, the harder it gets. But what do they say? Age and treachery will beat youth and beauty every time.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Watch out! Watch out for the old ones. You know they survived somehow for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So let me reply to a comment here real quick. Walt, shoot me an email, Walt. I might have some ideas on what you're talking about there. We can discuss that off 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 of here. But so I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, Matt. But I put up a video on my thoughts about the whole coronavirus and everything. So if you get a chance, go watch it because I'd rather you watch it before we
Yeah,
get
I
into
would
it.
on coronavirus. Everybody listening here is familiar with ballistics. I mean, or you wouldn't be listening. So I would say, like, if you're a shooter, you know what mass means, like, grains, 40 grain, 55 grain, 180 grain, and velocity, right? 1,000 feet per second, 3,000 feet per second. And whether you're doing energy, like mass times velocity, all of that, okay? With the coronavirus or any of these pandemics, there's two numbers. I'm just mentioning this because shooters will understand what I'm saying. There's two numbers that you got to grasp. One is the R0, and I don't know why they call it that, but it means what is the infectability of the virus. So a person with it will infect how many people, and it's just a kind of an arbitrary number they use. But if it's an R04, that means a person infected would infect four more people. And the other number, so it's like the last mass and velocity, right? The other number is the mortality rate, the fatality rate. If you're infected, what percentage are actually going to die? And if the mortality rate is 2 or 3%, it's going to be bad, but you can ride it out. But if the mortality rate gets over 5 or 6%, you run out of grave diggers. Okay, truck drivers aren't driving trucks. All the
Right.
doctors and nurses are sick. They can't take care of new patients, and it snowballs. So some diseases are extremely infectable. So their RO number is crazy, like measles. Measles you can catch from somebody 100 feet away, like that passed by an hour ago. But you're not probably going to die from it. You might go deaf or blind if you weren't, vaccinated. But the mortality rate is a different factor, and it's also subject to local variability. So the fatality rate of the exact same virus might be 5% in one city and 20% in another city because of the precautions they took, or how packed in people are, or what kind of medical help they had to start out, or did they do a defensive quarantine. When you talk about quarantines, you got to distinguish between a perimeter quarantine, like putting it around the city of Wuhan after it's a breakout, and a defensive quarantine where you have a healthy city that says, we are not allowing anybody new coming in. Sorry, can't come in. That's a defensive quarantine. So defensive quarantines actually do work very well through history.
Right.
But if you have the latest things that I'm reading now is that the infectability, the RO number, the R0 number, is around 4, and the mortality rate is about 6, which is just guesses because we don't trust the Chinese. That's about
China
equal at
wouldn't
least
lie.
to the Spanish flu. And the Spanish flu killed like 10 times more than World War I.
Yeah. What I was.
And that's in a society which was much more religious and unified and patriotic, and not like already going at each other's throats. So if we had something like a Spanish flu break out today, we would have hell to pay.
Yeah, what I touched on pretty heavy in my video on it was, and I mentioned it earlier in the live feed here, is not so much worrying about the actual virus itself, but worrying about both the public and government reaction to the virus. That if it got bad enough, it could easily overwhelm medical facilities in an area, which would in turn cause the chain reaction of causing people to actually freak out and panic, do stupid things like running to the store and trying to buy up everything and then freaking out when it was all bought up. And because the easiest thing would be just to self quarantine and
Yes,
stay at home.
There's two new factors compared to 1918. One is we're much more interconnected. So in 1918, I would guess that a survivable amount of a person's food was grown within 100 miles in 1918.
Right.
You know, the bread didn't come from a factory in St. Louis. And the infrastructure was more robust because it wasn't as strung out, like logistics, way strung out. And the other factor is society is much more untrusting and at each other's throats. Even if, for example, if they created a perfect vaccine for coronavirus, you know, in 2 months, and it would require everybody to take it, and it really was a perfect vaccine, a third of the population would say, I won't take it, it's poison.
Right.
And if a third of the population doesn't take it, there won't be herd immunity and it won't work.
Right.
But then the government would have to force everybody to take it.
Yep.
And I think that there's not enough power in the government to enforce something like that. So it's going to result in a wildfire spread of the disease. And in our cities today, with the lack of social cohesion, the lack of social trust, I think that we're going to have looting and all kind of terrible social consequences, because people aren't just going to self-quarantine. If they're told on the radio or the TV, stay at home and you can't go out, in China they're saying out of every household, which is an apartment, one person can be designated to leave every other day only to go to the grocery store and straight home. Wearing a mask and taking all mandatory requirements.
Right.
Can you imagine telling ghettos in America only one person can leave your house every other day to go to the supermarket only? It ain't going to happen.
Right. And that's what I was saying. If the easy way to avoid the virus is just stay home. So if you've got enough food, water, medicine, toilet paper, etc., that you can lock your front door and not leave your house for a couple of weeks, then you'd be okay. The problem is,
But what if your job is truck driver? But what if your job is nurse or truck driver?
well, that's what I'm saying. The problem is some people will have to go out due to work, but then all the people who don't have all the food and water at home are going to rush to the stores, just like in a hurricane, buy it all up, and then because we have the just-in-time supply system at stores, they would quickly run out and there wouldn't be any quick resupply, and then people would start panicking and freaking out because there's no resupply, and it would set off that chain reaction of dominoes.
And once there's no resupply in the supermarkets, they'll be looted. And
Right.
once they're looted, the security equation has reached a tipping point, because in normal times when there is a food supply, an 18-wheeler full of food can just drive down to the Publix or the Giant or the Safeway or the Winn-Dixie and unload with nothing but a driver to secure it, because nobody's fighting for food.
Right.
But once the stores are looted, that same exact 18-wheeler full of food for the supermarket will not be able to leave the warehouse without a platoon of soldiers guarding it. Well, that platoon of soldiers does not exist.
Right.
They're busy doing many other things.
Right. And that's
So the food chain will be interrupted, and it will not continue until there's a security situation, which during a pandemic I don't see existing.
right. And that was what I was getting at in my video I did. Don't worry so much about the virus itself as much as it's more important the domino effects of what people do, what the
Yes.
government does, what,
Yes,
all the other
absolutely.
stuff.
Yes. It's like an EMP, or a solar flare. You don't get killed by a solar flare. You
Right,
get killed because the electrical grid just went down and the ATM doesn't work and your credit cards don't work.
right.
The solar flare doesn't kill you.
Somebody
It's
else
the
made,
load of our computers and electrical system.
right. Somebody
That
made,
kills you.
somebody made a good point in the comments just a few minutes ago about medications. People, people that are on different medications that they have to have, especially some, that are on antidepressants and different drugs like that, for any kind of extended period, if they didn't have enough at home to self quarantine for 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, not even an extended period. And let's just take out the people on dialysis and the diabetics and say they're doomed. Okay, it's like tough luck. You got the snake eyes. You roll boxcars. You're a diabetic. You have insulin. But what about all the 5% of the people that are walking around living a normal life while on antipsychotics?
Right, that's what I was saying.
And as soon as their antipsychotics are gone, they're like seeing aliens and acting like psychotics.
Right,
So
right.
that's going to add to that boiling point of like, do I shoot or don't shoot? Somebody's walking up to you on the sidewalk looking like they're a little desperate. Shoot or don't shoot. It can go haywire real fast.
Yeah, and not even the sidewalk, just when you're self quarantined at home and got all your stuff, and one of those crazy people that's off their meds because they can't get any comes to your door banging on it and trying to start breaking through it, because you won't want to let strangers come in your house in that kind of situation.
Well, I want to ask people, how long do you think the water is going to come out of your tap if there's
Right.
no electrical grid?
Yep, and that's
Because the people at the power station didn't go to work because they're all sick.
right. Or self quarantining at home or whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's that domino effect.
Self-quarantining at home, I think that the water supply will be a very high price as long as it can be maintained. And in some places, it's just gravity and natural. In other places, it's fully infrastructure with electrical pumping stations required. But once water is gone, and in a lot of places, the water will be gone, and then people are really desperate.
Yep.
And they're not going to self-quarantine. They're going to go out doing what desperate people do. And
Absolutely.
you can lose there are a lot of historical examples. Some of them are in Central and South America, where flourishing civilizations collapsed virtually overnight. Everything was great. You had your social organization, and some tipping point is reached, and then it just has a social freak out. And the peasants slaughter all the priests.
Right.
But that doesn't. But that also has a complete break in that long food infrastructure. The fuel, the food, that breaks down. So the peasants get so pissed off for whatever reason that they slaughter all the high caste people. But then the infrastructure is frozen.
Yep.
And like 100 years later, people don't even know who lived in that city because the city collapsed and everybody had to flee into the jungle and try to survive pre-civilized humans.
Right. And people don't pay enough attention to that. So.
No,
And
we're much more interconnected now. The guy,
absolutely.
with the YouTube vlogger named Black Pigeon Speaks, he changed his channel to being called Felix Rex, and he's an American expat that lives in Japan, and he doesn't show his face, he narrates. But his video on the coronavirus says it can civilization enter.
Yeah.
And it's not because the virus is way worse than other viruses. It's because our infrastructure is so much more interconnected.
Yeah.
And fragile.
When you get a chance, go watch mine and see what you think.
I will. I
my
will,
buddy,
for sure.
My buddy just commented. You know my buddy Derek. You met him at our get together. He just commented in the comments and said, biowarfare does a poor job of actually killing folks, but it's great for panic and disruption that will kill far more than the actual bioweapon itself.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the trigger is. The real the real vulnerability is our interconnected infrastructure. It's like a Swiss watch. If you take a ice pick and you slam an ice pick through a Swiss watch, doesn't matter where you hit. You might only damage 1% of the little
Right.
gears, but the whole watch is going to stop.
Right.
So it doesn't. Oh, you can say, oh, we have 99% no damage,
Yeah.
but the whole watch stops.
Yep.
And with our society so crazy now, and there's where they only allow 5 people in at a time because the robbery rate is just bold in your face. People just walk in and start stealing.
Right.
That wasn't like that in 1918.
Oh no, not even close. The society itself is totally different. But
And I would compare that 1918 America to China or Japan or Korea today. After the Fukushima nuclear disaster, the Japanese didn't panic. They were still listening to instructions and doing what they needed to do. They didn't loot stores even.
right.
In America, our social boiling point is so different than, say, Japan or Korea or even China, that in our cities, they will absolutely boil over.
Oh yeah.
Because for one thing, there'll be rumors like, this virus is just meant to take out my racial group.
Right. Those kind of rumors will start flying like mad. So.
And self-quarantine, so only this people will survive, or that those people are getting all the supplies and we're not getting any. In 1918, that wasn't a consideration, and that was a real borderline collapse situation.
Right. Well, as much as I hate to do it, I think we're going to have to call this one because dinner's waiting on me, and I want to eat it before it gets cold. So,
How long you been married now?
20.
I saw something about that.
Yeah, 23 years of marriage and about 25 years actually together. So, it's
And
it's a
still
few.
love story.
Well, there's love in there. Yeah.
I saw that. No, I mean, I saw it. I saw what you said, and that's
No.
a beautiful thing.
Occasionally there's flying objects across the room, but that's usually more on her part than mine. I mean, I'm a perfectly lovable fuzzball.
You're just dodging.
Yeah, I'm ducking and dodging. It's good for the reflexes, but yeah.
It's not easy. I give kudos to everybody that can make it into the multiple decade club.
Yeah, it takes work, but it's worth it. So.
All right.
Well,
Man.
let's. I'll get with you, and we'll try to get this a little bit better organized for next time. Maybe we can get everything set up to do the double Skype thing or something to make it easier.
Yeah, you can do it on Skype and then record it for YouTube.
Yeah. Well, there's ways we can do it live together at the same time. I just got to get it figured out. So.
We'll do it. All right.
All right. Well,
John.
take care, and I appreciate you calling. We'll catch up later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. See you. All right, guys. I know that was kind of impromptu, but sometimes when Matt's got time to call like that, we got to take it because, like I've said before, our schedules are usually so busy. So, Walt, dead serious, email me. I want to discuss that topic further because I've already got some plans I'm working on with that. Everybody else, Westwind, Don, Quasar, all the rest of you, y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in. Hope it didn't waste any of your time. I always feel like I'm wasting people's time when I do this. Y'all are just sitting here watching me ramble and talk. So I appreciate you dropping in, but I think we're going to call it there. I'm going to go eat some dinner and try to get my mind squared away to start another great week of putting out gear. All right. Y'all take care. I'll see you later. Where's the off button on this crazy thing? Oh, there it is. Bye-bye.